Hi everybody, Ben here from Art Less Ordinary. So today is video number 200. I'm super surprised I even got to 200 videos. I wasn't really expecting it, but everyone's been really wonderful. I love doing them. I love doing the art, and it's just been so much fun. So I was hoping to have my art room set up by now, but I went away on a holiday for a week and I spent my holidays holidaying instead of actually fixing up my art room. So I'm still using my temporary art room. But I have been asked if I will show the dried work of this pearl pour. So my lighting isn't the best. One of my lights is broken, so this is the best I can do. But that is the latest metallic pearl pour, dirty pour combination. So as you can see, got beautiful copper and silver ones mixed with the purple up here. Got a whole bunch of silver running through, and then the copper down across the bottom. And the purple is deep in there, then fades off as it mixes with the colours. Beautiful. I really like this one. I think it turned out well. I made this slightly thicker, the pearl colours, and I think it made more... It made better cells and pearl shapes, but it still has a lot of different interest in it. So I'm going to do one similar-ish, but not the same. So I'm going to do another one of my 100th video. So when I did video number 100, I did this type of pour. So I'm going to do it again. It's a slight different mixture. So because the mixtures are a little bit thinner, I paint the corner, the edges, just so if the paint rubs off on the corner, it doesn't show the canvas as much. So this is a little bit more of a slightly different design. So I have used decoart Americana metallics in amethyst, in, is it deep sapphire, and in silver. So I wanted these three colours to be the main colours that come through as metallics and pearls. And then I used as a background colour marte turquoise. So what you do when you do this one is you got to make the turquoise a little bit thinner than normal. So this is 50 grams paint, 100 grams Australian floetrol, and then a little bit of water, just so it leaves a little bit of a mark. Like if you do a figure eight, it stays there for probably about a second. That's why I paint the edge, just to make sure that it is absolutely going to show through. Now, the three metallics, I mix these ones. So these are a little bit thicker than Extreme Sheen. So these ones I did 1 part paint, so 25 grams paint, and 50 grams Australian floetrol. I decided not to add any water into it because I don't want them to be super thin. It's harder to tell with metallics, but the pattern stays there, but the mound doesn't. So I think these are going to be about the same consistency as that, maybe a little bit more thicker. So when you do it, you can see a pattern, but being metallic, it shows that figure eight longer anyway because the powders are sitting there. So I'm going to put these three away. There we go, out of my way. Okay, and we will be using a corner catcher, which was stuck to the thing from my last pour. My corner catcher is getting super thick with paint on it now, so it's kind of feels really heavy. So what we will be doing now is put our cup here, and we're going to pour about between a third and a half of this into the cup. There we go. I think that was around half, maybe. It's hard to always tell when you're actually pouring. Now we want to get these colours in here. So, but we want these to sink. So what do I want to do first? Let's go purple, silver, blue. So we want to pour it from a height and let it smash down into the paint as much as it can. Then once it starts trickling, then we just scrape the rest out into the cup. Oh, it's already making beautiful cells in the cup. That is what we want to see. We want to see the patterns. So, can you see that in there? See how it's already starting to sell up? That's what we kind of want. That's how we know it's going to sell up on the canvas. So, next one is silver. I usually just turn the cup a little bit in case it doesn't go all the way to the bottom on one part. There we go. So if you were to use extreme sheen, I wouldn't add as much floetrol. I would probably only do it, instead of 2 parts floetrol to 1 part paint, I'd probably go 1 to 1.5 parts floetrol to 1 part paint. Because the extreme sheen is, you know, in that regards. Alright, now I'm just going to turn it a little bit more. Give the blue a little bit of a stir. And then smash that down into it too. So these colours will mix because we're smashing them into each other. But at the same time, because they're actually paints that make pearls, they will separate a bit too. So you kind of get an assortment of effects when you do it this way. Alrighty, that put a lot of bubbles in there, which are coming up with different colours in it. So now we're going to put this aside. And we've got the rest of our turquoise. So we're going to put this on the canvas. Because what we want is we want the paint to slide across, not roll across. So just getting the paint out. And it's a bit warm today. So I was on holidays down south of my state. Absolutely beautiful spot. Stayed at a cabin on the lake. So I didn't have very much reception. So I couldn't do a lot of chatting or replying to people. I just had a break from working, and I was actually missing my art a little bit. I kind of was hanging out to get back and do a painting, but at the same time I was enjoying myself. Now where have I put something? My biggest dilemma at the moment is being half in the art room and half not. Because I put stuff down and it's not where it should be. So it does become a little bit frustrating because you feel like you're not exactly settled. Oh well. I will just have to make do. So what I want to do is I want to cover this canvas so the paint can slide around. This really isn't the easiest way of doing. Oh, what am I doing? I know what I can use. This is what happens when you haven't painted for a week. You kind of get out of your routine. I've got my palette knife. So what we're just trying to do is make the surface wet. So the paint has something to glide over and not roll over. Trying not to push too much paint over the edges. because I want this paint to be on the surface for now. Stuff will get tipped off when I start tilting. But what we want is we just want a nice glidable surface for the metallics. Okay. That should be perfect. And I'm going to say thank you so much for everyone's support. I really enjoy the comments. People have been so nice, letting me know what they think of my art or what colours I should do. And just remember, I haven't been doing this for many years like some people. I'm doing it for fun. I just enjoy getting out there, doing an artwork, having fun, and hoping for the best sometimes, because I have to use products that are easy for me to get available where I am. I don't always have the option to order stuff in. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So now I'm going to pinch my cup. And I want to pour from a little bit of a height, similar to what I do with my other pours, but it's just this is a bit thinner and we've got a base to work on. So let's pour. And as you can see, I'm making sure that it's a bit of a dirty pour. I want it to sink into itself. I don't want it sitting on top. Okay, that last little bit can't always help that. So I'm just stopping this paint from going over the edge. Trying to. So you can see it's a little bit thinner, can't you? It's just moving quite easily. And try to do this artwork on a very level surface. If your surface is uneven, it will cause you a little bit of it just won't flow to the way you want it to. And you know what? I may actually not have to use that corner catcher. It looks like I've actually got a fair amount of paint on here. So if you wanted to use a corner catcher, you could probably actually use less paint. We want to get rid of all these bubbles because there are tons. I don't know if you guys can see them popping, but to me it looked like thousands and thousands of little bubbles popping all over the place. Okay, more will come to the surface. Can't do much always about that. So I have to keep stopping and wiping my face, because if I drip into the metallics, the water will react with the paints and ruin the artwork. So I have to just keep paper toweling my face a bit. Alrighty, so now it's just going to be a matter of moving the paint around. It's definitely got a good flow to it. And I do have tons of paint here. I could have probably reduced my measurements a little bit, but that's okay. I haven't done this one for 100 videos, so you learn sometimes. And try to record everything that you do. Write it down so you know what you're doing a bit better. Alright, so I'm going to start going over these edges. Nice and easy over, come back to the middle. Down this way. Over, come back. Losing a lot of the darker colours because they're right on the edges, but I can't do a lot about that. So I'm going to the edge, over and back, And now this bottom corner. Over and back. And now I just want to move the paint around. I know it's harder to see without that extra camera. Kind of makes things quite dark. So I'm moving this paint around while watching my picture that I'm not ruining it or overstretching it. Trying to bring up more cells by friction. I think if I keep doing this, I'm going to alter my picture too much. And I quite like the dark blue at the top and this down here. So I'm going to settle this down for the moment and just watch it a little bit. So these pearl cells, they are going to keep forming. But I am going to give it a slight torch. Just got to clean my hands. Yeah, I didn't wear gloves. They're still locked away in the back of the art room. When I went on holiday, everywhere I went I had colours underneath my nails. It was hilarious because I didn't have a scrubbing brush with me to actually scrub it out. It was quite entertaining, really. Okay. Not a big torch, just running along the surface and popping bubbles. Okay, that's it. Now, what we do want to do is, we do want to check the corners. So this corner is got turquoise on it, but it doesn't have any metallic. So I'm going to run my finger underneath and then just dab it at the top and let it run down. So I get all that metallic on my finger and just kind of push it onto the surface and let it run off. Again, it's only the very, very corner, so it's not overly noticeable, but I would prefer it to have a bit more paint on there than not enough. Just so it kind of matches in a bit better. Okay, now I can see more effects happening. The cells and the pearls are kind of developing more. Silver over here is getting stronger. The blue is this silver. The purple's kind of pushing its way up and trying to tell that the turquoise to get out its way, because the turquoise is the plain paint, not metallic. So what the metallics do is, the metallic being slightly thicker, the metallics are kind of telling the non-metallic paint to get out my way. I want to get to the surface. So they push it out the way a bit. That's why you need your metallics to be a little bit thicker than your base coat. Because if they're not thicker than the base coat, they don't really push their way through it as easily. You kind of want them to be a little bit of a bully in this style of painting. Some paintings, metallics can be too much of a bully, but that's what we want. We want the metallics to bully the other paints out of their way so they can shine through and be the feature. Now I've scraped all four corners. Now you've got to watch. So I always get down low and have a look. And if you see too much paint dripping off one side, it's not level. And when it's not level, so if paint keeps dripping off this end, I'll lose all this purple and silver, and those blue bits will stretch right down and get in the way. I don't really want that to happen, so I got to watch this and see how it goes. So you keep getting low, look what side the paint's dripping off, and just prop it up that little bit if you have to, because these are a little bit thinner. You don't want them to run off the canvas because you will lose effects. Yes, it will bring these down, but it'll also really stretch out these ones that are on the edge, and you'll lose all of that, and I don't want that to happen. I like this as is. These effects will still come up more. So what I will be doing right now is I will be pausing this, and I'll come back in about 5 minutes, we'll say. Alright, let's pause. And we're back. So I am noticing one thing. It is moving. So I'm going to prop it up with a pop stick. Where are my pop sticks? Over here. So what's happening is this is getting pulled down, and it's scrunching this area here a little bit. And see how these pearls are kind of getting a little bit, they're not out of shape, but I don't want them to go any more out of shape. So I always do my artwork on these trays, so I can just lift up that tray and pop a couple of pop sticks under there, which just brings it up a millimetre or two. I may use a couple actually, and then I can watch it over the next 20 minutes to see what happens. So I've got 2 pop sticks on top of each other. The good part is it's not actually pushing any of the paint off. So this end isn't actually getting pushed off, it's just getting scrunched together a little bit, making these a bit tighter and making those a bit elongated. So by propping this up, hopefully it will bring that flow back that way a little bit. Let me see if I can help it along. Just to bring it back where it was. Just doing it gently. You can see the paint moving. But can you see how the pearls have developed more? They've become more, they stand out more, they have, that might be about enough. If I do too much, I'll stretch it out the other way. See, these silvers have really become more defined over here and down along there. The silver's actually kept its shape a little bit better than the blue has. The blue's kind of a little bit, I don't mind this pebble shape, and these here have kind of got more defined. The purple has, but I think the other colours are a bit stronger in the way that they're developing their shape more. So this is because even though I mixed my paints evenly, that silver was slightly thicker. So it's kind of being more developed than the others. But look at how cool these colours are. There's silver, but they're kind of dark in the middle where they've taken on some of the blue all the way along. I like this. It's really, really interesting. So I was hoping for it to look a little bit like a crystal cave, because that's where I went on adventures while on holidays. I went to some of the oldest caves in the world to look at crystal formations, and it was beautiful. I had such a good time, and I was hoping to come back and do something that had a bit of cave colours in it, so it kind of makes you think you're in a cave. But this, not exactly what I had pictured in my head, but you never know when you do these type of dirty pours. The paint will kind of do what it wants to do to a certain degree. You can only control it so much, but I love it. You can see the turquoise in there. You're best to use an opaque colour as a base, not a transparent, for this style, because you're making it quite thin. you want the paint to have some opaqueness to it. Otherwise, you do get very light edges where it rolls over and you see a bit of the canvas. This is perfectly thick enough where you can't actually see that. It's covered the edges nicely. It's come out really well. And we are going to come down for a close-up. There we go. So, with these, there is going to be slight changes still because the paints are thin. Thinner the paints, the more they take to kind of settle into their shapes a bit. If you made them thicker, they would probably not change much more than this. I don't think I'll get a lot more changes. Maybe just a little bit more stronger definition. They'll probably still keep pushing their way up through the other colours. And it may alter where my center and that is a little bit as they push their way through. They push the other colors out of their way. But this is beautiful. I really, really like this. So let's go down and have a look at these. Look how cool they are. So you got the purple. Whoops, what's happening? You got the purple and the silver in there. And they have mixed with some of the other colors to give some tones. Like these ones over here are quite dark in the center. That's because they've got the dark blue in them, the deep sapphire, inside the silver. So it's giving that two-toned effect. There's lots of purple ones in there. They just don't stand out as strong. Got another whole bunch of silver with purple. Got the turquoise showing up. Then we got this deep blue. Focus camera. More silver. And look how cool they are. Really well defined pearls or cells. And then we got this nice lacing that goes on where these pearls have come through but they've not stayed to their shape as strongly. So they're kind of showing through that turquoise in the background. And this area here is mostly where the last bit of the cup comes out, where it doesn't become a dirty pour, kind of sits on top a little bit. You get a little bit of a different pattern to it, but then the real pearls come up and push their way through it. So as a whole, this is a beautiful, I love this. I can't wait to see this dry and see what actually happens with it. I have put a hook outside in the sun, so hopefully I can get some nice pictures in the sun where it can show off the colors a little bit better. So when this is dry, I'll put it in another video and show everyone what it looks like. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. So comment, like, share this video. If you love the video, share it, show other people what it is, and subscribe. When you subscribe, click subscribe, hit the bell, and click all to show the videos. If you aren't getting notifications that I'm putting up new videos, hit unsubscribe and then resubscribe and hit all, show all videos. Because sometimes YouTube resets its settings and doesn't actually tell people. But that's the best way to fix it. It's just unsubscribe, then resubscribe again, hit all, and hit all videos. So, thanks very much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Video number 200. Super thrilled. And I will see you next time for another pour. Okay, bye.